We tell people to believe in themselves all the time, like it's some sort of on and off switch they have inside of them. Believe it and you can achieve it. Well, in my experience, self-belief, if you have a history of self-doubt, of inner criticism, is extremely hard to muster. So here's the thing, self-belief isn't so much a switch on and off, it's more like a process that we build with ourselves. It's a process and small accumulation of small efforts. And in this video, I want to lay out how you can start building self-belief that builds from the inside and radiates out towards everything we touch. We can build self-belief through self-trust. Before I get any further, let me introduce myself. My name is Sarah Tomlinson, the girl with many secrets, artist, advocate, and healer. Here to inspire and empower you on your healing journey. And if you like my videos, please take the chance to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications every time a new video gets posted. I made this connection between self-belief and self-trust in sort of the opposite direction. I wasn't trying to believe in myself. I was trying to trust myself again, and it ended up in believing in myself. And believing in myself had this beautiful effect of confidence and empowerment that touched every single aspect in my life. So in this video, I want to touch on how I started to build that self-trust inside of me again, which led to unshakable self-belief. If you don't know my story or a little bit about me, let me backpedal as to why I needed to build self-trust. I had a terrible experience exiting an abusive relationship. I was in a coercive controlling relationship for 13 years, and I was able to get out, but my mind was so wrecked that I fell apart. I fell into a psychosis. I fell into addiction. I fell and had a spinal cord accident. And after a month in the hospital, time to reflect, and the long road and journey to heal, I realized that I just didn't trust myself. I didn't trust my mind. I didn't trust my emotions. I didn't trust my thinking. My foundation of trust was absolutely shattered within me. And therefore, my belief in myself and my life was shattered. And if we can't trust in something, we can't believe in it. And we sure as hell can't form any love or secure attachment to it. I'm talking about building a secure attachment and love for yourself. And just like as if trust were to build with another person or build in anything in our life, trust isn't built in a day. Trust isn't built through these large, momentous actions. It's built through a small accumulation of small efforts where people show up. So in this case, I'm talking about building self-trust with yourself and some of the key tools to doing that. And it's through the small accumulation of building self-trust that we build that unshakable self-belief. So it really is time to start thinking about the trust relationship you have with yourself as if you were forming a relationship with another person. And one of those key aspects to forming trust with another person is honesty. And do their actions match their words? So I'm going to be touching on both of those topics. We have to look very closely within ourselves and really get real and accountable and hold ourselves responsible. Are we being honest with ourselves? And do our actions match our words? It can be easy to trick ourselves or gloss over what we do and what we say and in the day, but our subconscious and our spirit and our soul knows. It keeps track of everything we do throughout the day. So even though our conscious mind might gloss over those little parts where we're not honest or the parts where our actions don't meet our words, our inner self knows and records everything. So that's really, really important part of today is the honesty aspect of building self-trust and the part where we have an inner coherence with our outer reality, as in we make sure and we really try to make sure that our actions are matching our words as much as possible. And where they aren't, we really be honest with ourselves about it. I'm going to touch a little bit more on the actions, not matching your words a little bit later, but I wanted to kind of talk about my own experience. I had a lot of trouble with self-trust even before I got out of my abusive relationship. It was built long before that. It started within the relationship. It probably started a little bit before that. I was an anxious set person and I did have a lot of self-doubts. That was definitely fed on within the relationship. The gaslighting in the relationship eroded my self-trust even more. So if you are a survivor or a victim of abuse, or if you have that history of abuse and you find self-belief difficult, it's probably because your self-trust was undermined by people or your environment. And like all things in our life, it's not our fault for what's happened to us, but it is our responsibility to take accountability and take charge to redirect and heal our lives. So here are 3 things to start building self-trust, to start that foundation of self-belief. Number 1, notice the areas in your life where you might be letting yourself down. And this can be hard because it feels like when we let ourselves down, other people might notice or we're going to get judged. But the only person who's judging ourselves at the end of the day is us. So the trick is to notice where you are repeatedly letting yourself down. It's time to get real with what exactly you're letting yourself down in. And first of all, take away the judgment. It's the judgment that's causing the bad feeling inside of us. And often that bad feeling causes us to avoid the thing that we're letting ourselves down in, which means we perpetuate the cycle of letting ourselves down by avoiding it, by not looking at it closely. We create an environment that's very hard for positive self-development. We can't actually develop from a negative feeling place. We can only positively develop from a neutral or positive place. So I'm encouraging you to say it's okay to have areas in your life where you're letting yourself down. We all have them. So for example, do you really know or want to work out more and have more fitness in your life, but it just doesn't seem to happen? Well, get real and get honest and say, yeah, shit, I'm terrible at working out. I just can't seem to do it. It doesn't fit into my schedule. I never have the energy at work. Yeah, I really, really don't have a lot of fitness in my life, even though I feel like I should or I feel like I want to do it. That's a much more real and actually okay feeling statement than feeling bad about not working out or pressuring ourselves or judging ourselves. Another example could be, do you show up late all the time and you have trouble organizing your time? Well, if you just don't admit that to yourself and you're constantly frenzied and showing up late, you just feel that heavy disappointment every single time you're late. Well, just don't try to fix anything yet. Just notice it in a non-judgmental way. Be late and just say, yeah, I was late. I was late again. I was late. I have a really hard time organizing myself to be on time for things, even when they really matter. And that's a great place to start off with because it's neutral. And from a neutral place, we can start building good habits. We can't start building good positive association from feelings like disappointment, shame, and guilt. It's too far of a leap. You can't build good habits from negative feelings. So in this step 1, I'm really encouraging us, again, that honesty bit. Honesty builds trust with other people. Honesty builds trust with ourselves. Whatever part of your life that you're disappointing yourself in, just accept it in a non-judgmental way and be honest with yourself and claim it as a part of your life. And from that, you can move somewhere else. Number 2 for building self-trust is where your actions aren't meeting your words or your words aren't meeting your actions. And this comes from building trust with other people. One of the most important qualities is, do their actions match their words? It's like if we were dating somebody or trying to form a secure relationship. If their actions aren't meeting their words, it's like trying to build something on something that's always moving, like a moving target. So just imagine if your actions don't match your words in your life towards you, towards the things that you want to do. You are not building self-trust with yourself. So it's really important to try to have our actions match our words. We can have the best intentions for things and not be able to meet them. But even then, we should make a note of, yes, I wasn't that honest, or yes, I was far-reaching in my expectations, or oh, I missed that part and I'm going to readjust. And that's okay. If somebody were to do that to you and they came to you in reflection of, oh, I said this thing, but I actually didn't get to do it, that would be cool. So we can do that too. But it's the part where we just say things and don't do them, or don't do things and say we did, that becomes a problem. Let's just use an example of saying when you go out and talk to people, you say, oh yeah, I work out regularly. But in actual fact, you work out 1 to twice a week, and it's the kind of working out where you're sitting on your phone most of the time. This is not being honest with you. This is not being honest with other people. And even if you think it might not be a big deal by just laying out a certain image for people, again, your inner spirit and your subconscious knows and is keeping track of every single time you're not being honest with yourself. And this is causing something called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is a distance in our cognitive reality between what we're saying and what we're doing. And every time we do this and have cognitive dissonance in our brain, it causes stress and anxiety that gets stored and builds up over time. So the more that we are not honest with ourselves, and the more that our actions don't meet our words, we're going to have a lot of stress that we're carrying in our brain and our bodies. And this stress takes a toll on every single system in our body. So you have a few options from this point. Number 1, you can just start getting honest. And if you don't really work out that much, you can just say to people, yeah, I don't work out that much. Or yeah, I'm the kind of person who goes to the gym, and when I work out, I just kind of sit on my phone. Of course, we don't really want to say that to people, but what if we were radically honest for a change to people? I mean, what would be the harm? It would probably encourage them to be honest and authentic back. Being authentic is a much more admirable quality than presenting any kind of image that's not true. If it's something that you actually want to have be true, well, start matching up those words and those actions. Start by actually working out 1 to twice a week and putting in a good effort. So you could at least say, oh yeah, I work out a little, just 1 or twice a week right now, but I plan on increasing it in the future. If you actually plan on increasing it, this is a great way to start off some self-honesty and building that self-trust where our actions meet our words. And my third suggestion to start building self-trust for that stronger self-belief is just start by small things, small projects, and small actions that you can take in your life. Small good habits where you can meet yourself in accountability. I remember trying to build trust with myself for all of the things that I had trouble with, and coming out of a psychosis and addiction, I pretty much had trouble with everything. So every day seemed difficult. I didn't want to lay too much pressure on myself. I promised myself that I would do one bigger thing a week to have a more organized space. And so one week I picked out that I was going to organize my jewelry and my jewelry box, and that's it. Another week I was going to organize my shoes. Another week I was going to organize my Tupperware. The more important thing is not how much I was getting done. It was actually that I was able to meet myself in that project and complete it. And every time I did that, it built positive reinforcement. Another example was I wanted to journal every day, and I found journaling very healing. I would suggest it for you as well. But to not place huge expectations on myself, I was just going to journal for 10 or 15 minutes a day. What I found is because I was meeting that requirement, 10 or 15 minutes a day is pretty short amount of time. Because I was able to meet that requirement every day, I not only built a positive association, but I found myself doing it more. And it spanned to half an hour or 45 minutes. And it increased and enforced that positive habit because I kept the expectation and the habit at a very manageable area. All in all, these little self-trust exercises have one thing in common, which is keep your expectations small of ourselves. When you blow out your expectations of what you can be capable of, you tend to blow out whether you're going to be able to finish it, and then we sort of smash our chance at building self-trust. What can you do in your life, little small things that you want to start doing that you know would improve your life, that you can start building self-trust with yourself? Being able to achieve small, regular things is way more important than doing huge things. So those are my 3 tips in starting to build self-trust. Let me know in the comments which one resonated with you. Is it the getting real with yourself and just start accepting yourself for the parts where you let yourself down? Is it being careful that your actions meet your words? Or is it creating those small things in your life with lower expectations where you know you can meet yourself at? I'd love to hear below. Believing in ourselves isn't just something we turn on one day. It's really a small process of meeting ourselves and knowing that we can trust ourselves throughout the day. I hope that this video has brought you some value today, and if it did, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up so other people can find this content as well. And I just want to say, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and if you aren't, that's okay too. And I just wanted to send you lots of love on your healing journey.